All right, so today I want to talk about the presidential debates. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk about Biden, what would you say, just like, not performing well. And I mean, we have to admit, this man is a senior citizen over the age of 70. And it's like, okay, he may not have the cognitive functions he once did. So we have seen in the last 30 years that he is not quite as elegant as, say, Obama or, some of the other speakers, the other younger presidents. Bill Clinton, Obama, those gentlemen had a very well-developed speaking capabilities. So, and he's old, a bug. He's old. So, but I think that, everybody's sitting there talking about this and harping on how Biden is slipping and not performing well and not presenting well and all of this stuff. We have to remember he is a senior citizen, to be kind. And it's like, well, but I keep everything on the internet right now is how Biden is crazy, how he's senile, how he's old, how he's incompetent, incontinent, all this other stuff. And it seems kind of superfluous to sit there and point out these shortcomings of the President of the United States. Now, I understand that people have little faith in him, and that's fine. But rather than, I don't know where I could put this where the sun won't hit it. Rather than point out these shortcomings, I think a lot of individuals need to start focusing on what do we want to do to improve this country. Okay, Biden is not the way to do it. We accept that. So, now we have the other option, which is Donald Trump. He was already a president for 4 years, and at the end of the presidency, it just got embroiled in another whole bunch of scandalous things, people saying things and making accusations, and I guess these criminal allegations also. But what exactly are we expecting of the president? And we don't need a president, in my opinion. Okay, I'll say that. I'll say, in my opinion, we don't need a president who is going to sit there and make fun of or belittle another man or woman or candidate. So, we need to figure out, okay, what kind of person do we want? I would rather see an individual who could be like, when they say, well, what did you think about Biden's performance? And he would be, and I would say, well, I can't, I'm not authorized to critique his performance, but here's what I would like to do for the United States. Okay? So, start talking about what you're going to do. How are you going to help the public? How are you going to help the citizens? I would like to see I'd like to see presidential candidates who take time to talk about what they're going to do, what their plan is, who they wish to help, and things like that. Rather than spend time critiquing and even berating the opponent's performance during certain events. I think it would be a lot better if everybody would focus on what they're there for and not on trying to make the other guy look bad. If President Biden made mistakes or couldn't speak well, okay, well, we don't need to talk about that. What would be better is if Donald Trump in the debates would just retort with, well, here's what I'm going to do about whatever the issue is, taxes, economy, whatever it is, and rather stay on point with those subjects rather than go off on saying, well, he's dumb, he's not smart, he's incompetent or whatever, trying to point out the shortcomings of others. Attacking another's performance is really a sign of It's really a sign of not having anything, in your corner. You don't know what you just attack the other guy because you don't have anything to say about your side. So you just say, oh, he was a dumbhead. He stuttered and da 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 da. It's like, well, okay, what was the question? Let's say, if they say the question, what do you plan on doing about the, job situation in America? And if the answer, if Biden stuttered on that, yeah, well, I was gonna, then instead of saying, well, Biden was an idiot because he doesn't know what he's talking about, he doesn't know what the job situation is and blah, blah, blah. It would have been better if he'd say something like, well, I don't know what Biden is planning, but I can tell you what I have planned. And that's how a candidate should win the people, by going and saying, look, here's what I have planned. In a debate, you don't attack the other individual for their answer or lack of. What you do is you come back with a better answer of your, or the answer you want to give. So rather than sit there and say, well, obviously Sleepy Joe can't do anything, he's an idiot, blah, 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 you would say, look, here's what I have planned for that situation. Here's what I want to do. Here's what I'd like to see happen. And then, and go on that. But I notice everybody right now in the politics is, they're all just harping on Joe Biden. President Joe Biden, I should say. He is the president. That is his title. Whether or not you want to respect him as a person, you have to respect the title. President Joe Biden. Or President Biden. So, I think that a lot of this is why they don't impress me. It's because of the fact that they sit there and they tend to say a lot of stuff about the other guy, but they don't tend to talk up their own position. They say, oh, well, he's a liar and he's a fraud and he's incompetent, or, Trump is a liar and he's a criminal and blah, blah, blah. It's like, who cares? If Trump fails in whatever, I don't care. What are you going to do for me? And if Biden fails, I don't care. What are you going to do for me? I'm not worried about if Biden fails or wins. I'm not worried if Trump fails or wins. Whatever happens, I want to know what you're going to do for me as the United States citizen. So I think that people need to look at better debate tactics where you don't attack the other person or their policies. You just point out your policies and how they're valid and who you want to help, instead of going off on each other and telling them you're dumb, you're a criminal, you're this, you're that. If they made mistakes, let their mistakes be their own, and you just move on with your ideas and plans.